initially I had not intended to speak. I thought it would be better for the members of the jury to sit together jointly and arrive at a joint statement on behalf of the jury as a whole. That effort is on. We had some discussions during lunchtime, and a draft is being prepared of a joint statement on behalf of the jury. But since we have been asked to speak, whatever we say in an individual capacity. I am not speaking on behalf of all the jury, and others are not speaking on my behalf. With that clarification, let me say a few things. During the last 3 or 4 days, many criticisms have been made. Broadly speaking, they are the following about the World Bank: subservience to American dominance, an opaque and undemocratic style of functioning, a strong and doctrinaire advocacy of neoliberal policies and prescriptions, exercise of undue influence on governmental policy making and even detailed decision making, infiltration into key governmental institutions through officials with World Bank connections, a natural alliance with the elite and with big business, and mere lip service to slogans about the poor, social justice, and ecology. Some good research and scholarship, some generation of knowledge, but often biased and directed towards preferred conclusions. And to that might be added some lending for certain projects which are violative of the laws or even of the World Bank's own guidelines. If you look at these, you can, broadly speaking, they fall into 3 parts. One is a criticism of their style of functioning. It's not a democratic institution. It's heavily under American influence. The World Bank president is nominated by the United States and so on. These are institutional criticisms of the World Bank and its style, which are very difficult to remedy, but that battle will have to go on. But even if you assume that all this is resolved, that the World Bank becomes completely democratic, it's divorced from American influence and so on, it doesn't follow that its neoliberal economic policy will change. That will still continue. That's a separate strand. And a third strand is its attitude towards development and towards social justice, ecology, and so on, which is related to neoliberal economics, but is not identical with it. Now, if you look at the neoliberal economic advocacy by the World Bank, you will find that the World Bank is really acting as the high priest or the archpriest of a world religion. Capitalism, neoliberal economic capitalism, is today the world religion. Earlier on, Ronald Reagan in the United States and Margaret Thatcher in Britain made it their national religions. Subsequently, Russia collapsed and became a convert to capitalism. China is a convert to capitalism. India, in 1991, slowly and gradually shifted from its earlier policy of socialism to capitalism. So this is there all over the world. The World Bank is only its spokesman or its high priest. It has adherents in this country. When the World Bank comes to India and preaches the tenets of this religion, there are plenty of people here who respond to it positively, who adopt it, who think it's their own language. So it's not as if they are thrusting a religion on India. India has partially adopted that religion, though there are other people, some of us who do not agree with it. We have to keep fighting a battle on this. But let us remember that when we accuse World Bank of pushing neoliberal economics, that is the language which many people in India speak. And the state is bad, market is good. Many people would accept that. And take water as a commodity, defining property rights in water and making it tradable, privatization of water services, economic prices on the basis of full cost recovery, and so on, are propositions to which many, if not most, of our planners, economists, bureaucrats, technocrats, and politicians subscribe. And it's not only technocrats, politicians, bureaucrats, it's members of civil society and the media. They're very largely in agreement with all this. Many of them. I'm not saying everybody. This is a strong, dominant voice in this country. So that is what we are fighting. We cannot just put the blame on the World Bank and absolve all these people of guilt. It is the guilt which is shared. Now, related to this philosophy of neoliberal capitalism, but not identical with it, is what I would like to refer to as the World Bank's Prometheanism. That is to say, the belief that there are no limits to economic growth, that one can pay lip service to social and ecological concerns, but should not allow them to come in the way of the pursuit of growth and development. A World Bank official told me that the current favorite slogan is not the old trickle-down theory. The current slogan is, a rising tide lifts all boats. This is what they seriously believe. And that for all problems created by science and technology, answers can be found through science and more science and technology. So the World Bank is a firm supporter of gigantism, and while it may mouth the correct slogans about social justice and sustainability, its heart is in big projects. That is why it played a totally negative role towards the World Commission on Dams report. It was anxious to resume lending for big dams. Again, there are many in India who subscribe to this view. There are people who, in India, many people in the government, people in the engineering community, who are envious of China because it has built the Three Gorges Dam. And people have told me, look at the Chinese. They're able to build the Three Gorges Dam. They're able to displace 1 million people. They don't have Meda Patkar in China. They're able to do what they like. They're able to push people around. We are not able to do it. This is something which I'm not exaggerating. I've heard this. So that point of view is very much there in this country. To most people, development means big industrial complexes, highways, flyovers, huge shopping malls bursting with the world's merchandise, an exploding automobile population, the latest cars, and so on. Our cities should be resplendent like Singapore, Beijing, and Shanghai. And if people have to be pushed around for it, so be it. As far as ecology and sustainability are concerned, we can worry about all that later. Let us have growth first. And those who raise questions or doubts about projects like the interlinking of rivers and so on are enemies of development. Development means 10% economic growth and the stock market rising to new heights every day. This is a fairly widespread point of view. Professor Arun Kumar argued eloquently against this kind of development, and I agree with him, but it is not just World Bank philosophy, it's our own. We simply cannot make World Bank the villain of the piece and evade our own responsibility. How many in this country are willing to accept stability, justice, sanity and balance and settle for modest ways of living and abandon the pursuit of growth? You know, we had so many examples over yesterday and today about displacement of people, depriving people of their livelihoods, bringing so-called development into the coastal areas and depriving the fishing folk of their profession. So many of them. Forests, again, we heard horror stories about forest management. All this is being done in the name of development. Transfer of agricultural land to big industrial houses under what is called SEZ. All these they're all governmental policies. We are fighting against the National Environment Policy of 2004 and 2006, the National Rehabilitation Policy of the draft National Rehabilitation Policy of 2006, and all these things are a government. So responsibility lies very largely here. I am not defending the World Bank. The World Bank is a partner in all this. But let us not forget that all this is being done with the consent of the government and also influential sections of opinion. They are not all of India's people. They don't necessarily speak for India, but they are influential and they have to be, this battle has to be fought both internally and externally. Thank you.